Hello and welcome. My name is Kieran Shepherd from KGStudio.co.uk, and today we'll be covering Elementor Free versus Elementor Pro. We'll keep it real simple. So, as an Elementor Pro user, I can't express enough how useful it is as a plugin and how it's completely changed my entire web design game. I found the plugin probably about 2 years ago, and I've been a pro member since. I used it initially for the company I was working with at the time. They were looking to upgrade their current site. They were using WordPress, but a standard template with a few added plugins that weren't doing too much for the site except slowing it down. So if you're here, you're probably thinking, well, why can't I just get the free version instead of the pro version? Or what's the actual difference? This question comes up a lot when I talk to people about Elementor. So I've gone on to the official Elementor website, and here they have a full comparison, so we can go through it together just so you get a better understanding of free versus pro essentially. So with both the free and pro version, as it says here, you get the drag and drop editor, which is the guts and core of the Elementor experience. So even if you're not too sure whether you want to use Elementor, it's worth downloading the free version just so you can actually check out the editor and make sure it's right for you. Obviously, no pro updates. It's all about support. This part here is not too important, if I'm completely honest. I only just found out that I have the agency version, and I just found out I actually have access to this. I had no idea before, so I'm glad I've taken the time to look at it myself. So that might be something that I definitely use in the future, but I've never needed any support. It's super easy to use, and if there is an issue, which there very rarely is, you can just Google it, which is always helpful. So now this is where the big differences are. So in the design elements of Elementor Pro. So you get mobile editing, 100% responsive. That essentially means that you can make your website mobile, tablet, and desktop friendly, which is a standard in 2021. So even with the free version, that's possible. So I think that's great. What you are missing out on are the templates and blocks. Again, with this, I definitely use some blocks and I tweak it. Not always. Sometimes I just build it from scratch. So not necessarily the biggest deal breaker. Some of the templates can be super useful, and if you're a beginner, it's probably the best way to learn how to build websites and use Elementor. So the pro version is definitely beneficial in that way. Custom fonts is great. So if you're working, so this is more if you're working with clients or looking for clients. Some businesses have their own unique fonts that aren't part of the Google fonts. So you have to add that in manually, and it can't be said enough. I've worked with at least 7 different businesses that use their own fonts, not just in their logos, but actually their typography as well. So it will definitely be useful. Again, if it's a personal website, the free version is probably going to be fine because you can use a Google font. It's nothing too crazy. Motion effects and mouse effects. I actually have one of these on my website. So when you first go into it, so this is a motion effect, a mouse effect rather, not a motion effect. It's something to improve the user experience over anything else. They're not necessary, but they do add a certain flair to your website and make it look more exciting, more professional, and just kind of gets the client excited about doing business with your company. Slides and carousels, these are great, especially for hero sections. There's not too much I have to say about those, but they're not necessary. But if you have a certain image in your mind, they're definitely great for that. Custom CSS, so if you're adding your own code, you can do that with the pro version. I feel like personally it's a bit of a cop-out that you can't do it with the free version, but that's just whatever. So having the ability to add CSS can really change it up. I use it for headers sometimes, so to have an invisible header at the top of the site and then scroll and then make it sticky. I don't think there's a way of doing that with out CSS. There might be, I could be wrong, but I usually use custom CSS for things like that. So it can definitely, once again, adds, you know, the prestige to the website, I guess. Scrolling effects, those are great. Some of those are super cool. I don't have any examples, sadly, but they definitely, I've seen some great examples of that where it looks super awesome. I believe there is a example on the Elementor website, and it's essentially an astronaut with a space background. As you scroll, it looks like the astronaut is floating in space. It's pretty cool. Again, not necessary if you're just trying to build a, you know, a basic kind of website. Animated headlines, I've used this here and there. This is nothing too crazy. Essentially, it's where you have text and an interchangeable text. So think of it like, let's say you own a clothing store. We'll keep it real simple, and it'll be come, check out, are, and then the interchangeable text will be shoes, and then it animate, and then it can be t-shirts, animate, hoodies, jeans, etc, etc. So nothing too crazy. Again, it adds a little flair to your website, makes it a little bit cooler, but not necessary. A flip box, I like flip boxes on websites if done correctly. Essentially, it's where, so we use a fitness website. I'm just going to use loads of examples. So for a fitness website, let's say you have let's say you're a martial arts website, a mixed martial arts, so MMA, right? So you offer Muay Thai, wrestling, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, okay? So on these flip boxes, the first image of Muay Thai might be a Thai fighter throwing a kick. I forgot what I said for the second one. So the Jiu-Jitsu is a guy, you know, on the floor, and then essentially when you hover over that, the box will flip, and there might be information about maybe classes or what the actual sport is or how to book, things like this. So flip boxes can be great if done correctly. 15 plus more design widgets. You know, these are icon boxes, the ability to add Lottie animations, which I'm going to cover in a future video soon, so probably Thursday, Friday. So subscribe, don't forget to check out those videos. We'll just keep boosting your web design skills. Yeah, there's loads of design widgets. I don't think I use too many of them. Out of the 15 plus, I'll probably use maybe 8, maybe no more than that. So again, nothing too crazy that you're missing out on. Marketing, yeah, again, these things are great. So landing page, canvas template, comes with a free version and a pro version. Obviously, the canvas template is just a absolute bare bones blank template, no footer, no header, and you can build from there. For a landing page, that's great because obviously you don't really want people exploring the rest of the site, if there is the rest of the site, or if it's just a landing page, obviously they stay on that page. So I think that's great that it comes with a free version. Also makes sense, I guess, because it is just a blank page essentially. Pop-up builder is great. I've showed that in my how to build a simple one-page website. So if you haven't checked that out, please do. I'll add a card somewhere on the screen for you guys to check that one out. But that's super good. That's great if people are clicking off your website. I think for a client's site, I've actually used it. So we have a pop-up here. If we close that, when you go to leave the website, it comes up with this pop-up here, and you click that and it'll take you to a different site. So those are super great. Those are super great to use for many different things, especially for blogs if you're trying to capture emails. Pop-up builder is great. I love it. Sticky elements, like sticky headers and things like that. Things that essentially when you scroll, it stays on the screen. Could be a chat box, could be anything like that. Those are pretty good. Don't use them all the time. I do like sticky headers, especially just because as you progress through a site, having all the menu options follow you through just kind of makes the conversion a little bit higher, I've noticed, which is obviously something that you want. Social buttons in integrations, I think this should be free, really. It's just kind of, adding your Facebook, Instagram, all the social media icons, obviously, and then you click on that and it'll take you to your page. Nothing too special about that. Integrations with the blog, you can actually allow people to comment using their Facebook page, profile rather, which is great because that increases engagement. Having people not need to log in and go that extra mile to leave a comment is perfect. Plus, it also kind of makes your business seem a little more legitimate, and others are more likely to follow on suite as well, I guess. Call to action widget. Call to actions are great. I have a few on my site. I have pretty much every site I've ever built comes with a call to action. Obviously, we've spoken about that before in previous videos. A call to action is necessary just to get that extra drive for your visitor to, purchase a product, make a booking, things of that nature. The form widgets are great. I use loads of them. Contact forms, inquiry forms. God, there's so many different kinds of forms. That's great. They're very customizable as well using Elementor, which is great. You can now incorporate steps. I mean, it's been a feature for a few months now, but since I've had it for a while, I thought that was a brilliant add-on. The forms are great for Elementor. Super easy to build. So much different information you can collect and ask for. Definitely the form widget is a big plus for me. The evergreen countdown, I'm not entirely sure what this is, but it's probably, as it's suggests in its title, it has a countdown, and I've used these before. These are great for more e-commerce kind of stores, just to get the customer feeling as though there's a rush to buy the products. Obviously, if you are interested in e-commerce, I'm sure you've heard about impulse buying and things of that nature. So having a countdown is just pushes the potential client to make that purchase or inquire, or whatever it is you're trying to accomplish using your countdown feature. Action links, I'll be completely honest, I don't know what that is. I will find out once I finish this video, so I'll probably leave what that is in the magic box below. Lightbox are great. That's essentially if you have a bulk of images on your website, they click it and it will expand that image and bring it to the front of the screen. They do have a few different lightboxes, which are great. Again, don't really know why it's a pro feature. It's nothing too crazy. But lightboxes are great. They can definitely, especially if you have a visual website, it's great to use. And more marketing widgets, again, I'll probably use a few of those. So the theme builder itself, the fastest theme on WordPress. I don't know if that's debatable, but we'll go with it, shall we say. The Hello theme, I use the Hello theme for my websites. It is bare bones. It's absolutely, it's a blank canvas, quite literally. So I prefer it. It is quite small in file size, so it does increase the speed of your website because Elementor does slow it down a little bit. They do improve it with every update, but it's not always the fastest websites you'll find are built with Elementor. Theme elements. Again, that could mean a few different things, so I'm not entirely sure. Display conditions are great. I use display conditions, so that's essentially if you build a template where these things are shown. So whether you build an e-commerce store, a blog, any website you can use the conditions on. But so, for example, let's say you have an e-commerce store. On one page, you want to display a pop-up for shoes, and on another page you want to display a pop-up for t-shirts, right? So with the display conditions, you can have that if somebody's on the page for t-shirts and they've been on there for 2 minutes and they're just scrolling, the pop-up for t-shirts will show only on that page and only after 2 minutes of viewing. There's lots of different display conditions you can have, and they're all pretty good. I use them, again, mostly for my clients. I have a few for me that are on my website, mostly the blog aspect of my website. So they are definitely useful. I can see why it is a pro feature, and it's something that I recommend you guys use if you do purchase the pro feature. The header and footer obviously speak for themselves, the top and bottom of the page. They have loads of templates for headers and footers. Not all of them are great, but some of them are actually quite good. For me, I mostly build them myself. Currently I like to use the invisible header, which essentially just means it overlaps with your hero page. Again, if you haven't seen my how to build a simple one-page website, I do recommend checking it out, because you see some of these things in action, and that's always a better telltale, isn't it, really? The 404 pages are great. I've created some cool 404 pages using Elementor, if I do say so myself. Essentially, if you don't know what a 404 page is, it's where maybe a link is broken, or you've removed the page and somebody's tried to go back to that page. They may have saved it as a bookmark or something like that. And instead of just displaying an empty page, it will display something like, oh no, you found yourself, lost or something like that. Click this button to return to the home page. Always great. Just makes your site, again, a little more professional. Single post and archive page fit into a similar bracket. So single post is for blog posts, and archive page is the archive of those posts. So you can create those using Elementor. You can create some really good ones. I also use an additional plugin called Custom Fields, and that makes it look even better. I'm probably going to make tutorials on these things, so do let me know if you're interested in the comments below. But yeah, that's essentially more if you're running a blog on your site, which you should be, even if your business, even if you think your business doesn't need a blog, it'll help with your, your SEO and getting customers and potential clients more engaged. It's great to have a blog, even if you post once a week, as long as it's somewhat consistent, you'll see a result. Role manager is great, especially if you're passing it off to clients. So essentially it allows them to access the website, the Elementor side of the website, without breaking the theme that you've built, essentially the elements that you've built. So they can edit the text, change the font if you allow them to, and things like that, but they can't actually change or destroy the bulk of the website and then come complaining to you. So role manager is very good if you plan on rolling out your website to clients, and again, 15 plus widgets. Dynamic content, custom field integrations, as I was just saying, that is something that I use. Request parameters, I'll be honest with you, I'm not too sure what that is either. And dynamic widgets, these are things I don't think I use that much. Maybe, as I said, definitely use this. E-commerce, so Elementor is actually great for building e-commerce websites, because for the most part, just using a standard WordPress theme there's some hit or miss websites, shall we say. So we have the price table widget, which is great. It's actually, I think there's blocks for it as well, so templates for it. So typically it's 3 boxes, and the most used one should be in the middle, and there'll be 2 on the sides. And essentially it's just how much this costs and the features that you get with it. So if you have like a membership kind of website, those are great for them. So it'd be bronze, silver, gold. For the silver version, you get access to XYZ plus all the things from bronze, and it'll cost you, $25 a month. So super useful, super great. I do enjoy the e-commerce features on Elementor. The price list widget, so if you have like a restaurant, I've worked with a few restaurants to build their websites. This is great because you can just have a list of costs. So for hamburgers and cheeseburgers and fries and things like this. Product archive template and single product template are similar to the posts that we were just talking about up here. Here we go. These things here. So essentially it's just showing a single product template a B. So if you're selling a jumper, you click on the jumper image, then you have the single product template. So, it might be the main image of the jumper, a few sub images, people wearing a jumper, title, description, price, checkout button, and then below the fold, which is essentially when you have to scroll, more detail. So is it cotton, wool, things like this. And the product archive is the actual bulk of the website, so the bulk of the product page. So, here's a red jumper, blue jumper, purple jumper, pink jumper, green jumper, orange jumper, etc. You get my drift. So that's what the archive is. These are great. I use these templates all the time when building e-commerce sites for people. I've built a few dropshipping sites using Elementor. I'm actually about to redesign a client's website using Elementor, and I've spoken to them. I do have permission to film that, so if that's something you guys would like to see, drop that in the comments below and we can build that together. I think that could be pretty fun. So Woo product widgets, Woo category widgets. These are essentially just little widgets that you can drag into any page of your website to show the products that you're offering. So let's say that on your clothing store's blog, you can have these widgets in a sidebar so they can see that you sell, shoes, shorts, socks, things like that, and actual products too. So maybe you can get 20% off this hat today, have that in the widget. WooCommerce templates and blogs, obviously we just spoke about that. It's pretty much these things here, and there's more widgets. You can build the page from scratch using these widgets. So there's a checkout widget, a quantity widget, tags widget. There's lots of WooCommerce widgets that are super useful. I understand completely why all of these are for the pro feature. Highly recommend that. Literally, if you're looking to build an e-commerce store, highly recommend Elementor for it. And the forms, I spoke about the forms earlier, so we're not going to go over this too much, but contact form, obviously for people to get in contact with you. Subscription form, so people signing up and probably going to be paying a monthly kind of fee, something like that. A login form is great, especially if you're trying to make the website look more professional and not made in WordPress. So you can create your own custom page for the login form and then just drag the login form, tweak it, and then it's good to go. So you can create a custom login page. So the default is your domain /WP _admin, whereas this way you can do your domain /login and then have people sign in that way. It's is a little more professional. Again, it's just these little things that add up to make a nice user experience. Action after submit and redirect. I actually have one of these on my website. So if you fill in my contact form and click submit, it'll take you to a thank you page, which has a little dancing monkey on it. Just as a nice little touch to it. Confirmation email is a follow-up email after maybe a purchase or something like this. Email HTML plain, that's a basic kind of form template. Custom messages, I believe that's so. Yeah, I believe so. Once you send off a form, usually it just says check this form has been sent successfully. But you obviously, if you're trying to get your brand out there, you want something a little more personalized. So I usually have thank you for sending us off, or a cute little joke or something like this, just to again make the user experience nice. Advanced form fields. This is good. There's essentially instead of just your name, email, phone number, and message box, there's password boxes, telephone number boxes, date, time. Again, I use those in my simple one-page website tutorial. That is something that came up. Upload files speaks for itself. It's just essentially, people can upload files to send to you or something like that. Do remember though, having this on your website, if people are uploading files to you, it saves it on the server, I believe. So it can get overloaded. Keep that in mind when using that. Hidden fields, again, if there's something that you don't want a client to see or something like this for specific people, you can hide the fields. The acceptance field is just a little checkbox. I'm sure you've seen those when it's opt-in for email subscriptions and things like this. That's a little acceptance filters and spam filtering. So your website will get a lot of spam regardless. I have Elementor and I still get spam messages, so the spam filter is not bulletproof. And we have integrations, right? So these are things that Elementor work with. MailChimp is great to collect emails. I don't use this. I don't use most of these, in all honesty. Obviously, this is good to beat spam. This is good for, I think I use this for my data collection. So if somebody clicks on my website, maybe from Facebook, it essentially remembers them. And then when I create adverts using Facebook, it can target the people that have been on my site before. Super great, complicated, could make a video on it if it is interesting to you guys. It's definitely Facebook recently changed their terms and conditions, so I know it's a little bit different now, but it is super useful, especially if you're running an e-commerce store. Definitely recommend it. Obviously, we've got Honeypot, Discords. I'm sure you guys recognize some of these names. But yeah, that is... and here we go, good. We have the pricing as well. So this is their birthday sale. I do believe their birthday sale just ended, so you guys might have missed out on that. That's probably my bad. I should have made a video a little bit earlier. But here you can see all the packages and what you get for them. I actually have this one. When I purchased it, it didn't cost $999. They recently changed their pricing. But I do think it is worth it, especially if, like me, you do work with clients. $999 isn't that much. Even if you get two clients, you probably would have doubled your income, depending how much, doubled your return on investment, essentially, depending how much you charge per website. Pricing of website is something that's a whole different topic, something that we can discuss in the future, because I think it's important that you guys know how much your work is worth. The absolute minimum I charge for a website is £1,200, so £1,200, which I think is like $1,500. Obviously, that's for not just my time, but my expertise and the experience that I have using just building websites in general. So for you guys, if you are looking to get some clients and things, leave a comment in below, and that's definitely something we can have a discussion about more of. I may even mention it in this week's podcast, which drops on Wednesday. But going back to this video though, as you can see, lots of different packages. This one's actually not too bad as well for a beginner. But yeah, Elementor Free is great to experiment, to understand to see if you like the plugin and if you enjoy the builder. There are other builders out there too. Obviously, I'm an Elementor advocate because I use it myself, and I'm not gonna make videos on anything else for now because I don't use anything else. And I believe the only other builders I've used is Divi and Beaver Builder, and those weren't for me. So yeah, Elementor's where my loyalties lay right now, but again, that could change in the future. There are a few different ones I would like to try, but yes. So hopefully this helps. It was going to be a short video, but somehow I think it went on quite a little bit, but that's good. We got everything covered, so you guys know exactly what each of the differences are, and hopefully you can walk away from this video feeling a little more confident in either a purchase or willing to check out the free version. If you do want to check out Elementor, please use the link in my in the magic box below. I do earn a commission from the purchases, but it costs you nothing extra, and it just helps me make these videos and keep producing them for you guys, and hopefully making better content as I go along. Right now I'm just filming on my Mac, so I would like to upgrade production values and things. So yeah, definitely give that a think, and thank you in advance if you do use that. If there's anything else you're looking to learn, anything else you're looking to know about Elementor, please feel free to comment below, or you can contact me using my website or KGStudio's Facebook page, all of which will be in a link below. Thank you so much for checking out this video, guys, and I look forward to speaking with you in the future. Peace.